amazing day. One of the subjects that I find really fascinating and especially relevant in this age of social media is branding. Branding is often talked about in human terms. You hear words thrown around like brand image, brand identity, brand story. So it makes quite a bit of sense that branding concepts can in turn be applied on an individual level. And the reason I wanted to talk about this topic in particular is because I don't think that branding ends with businesses, corporations, or what we traditionally refer to as brands. I think we all can benefit from being more mindful of our portrayal in the world. If you've spent any time studying languages, you'll know that language goes beyond communication between two people and encompasses our very perception of life. Giving names to certain phenomenons or circumstances modifies and essentially expands your world. You may have seen those image lists on Tumblr or circulating the internet of words that do not exist in the English language. The feeling you get after leaving a conversation when you think of all the things you should have said. Translated, it means the spirit of the staircase. The feeling of being alone in the woods. Doing something with soul, creativity, or love. The euphoria you experience when you're first falling in love. The urge to pinch or squeeze something that is unbearably cute. A person who asks a lot of questions. The embarrassment you feel watching someone else's humiliation. The mark left on a table by a cold glass. A person who is ready to forgive any abuse for the first time, to tolerate it a second time, but never a third time. So you can begin to see how giving a name to something, in this way making it real, can little by little broaden your mind. And similarly, the carefully curated language of a brand can prescribe a lifestyle. Let's imagine for a moment. When we walk down the street, for instance, we all more or less maneuver within the same objective reality, if such a thing exists. But there at the same time transpires another unseen dimension, that which is occupied by our thoughts. You could be standing beside a stranger, staring at the same stoplight or the very same sky, sharing space and time, yet owing to your thoughts, in that moment each of you exists within wholly separate universes. And because the world consists of infinite subjective realities, there cannot be just one correct way to perceive it. Because each of us has within us our own unique set of interests and vantage points, it makes it really interesting when everyone offers their own interpretation. We are social beings in a social world, and if we think of ourselves as brands, we can be better equipped to control the message that we submit to the world and how our rich inner worlds are received. But what is a brand? The way I see it, brand is a selection of the visual, verbal, and even nonverbal communications necessary to convey a worldview to an audience. It is a curation, an active filtering that chooses from an excess of information those things that best portray what you are about. The more precise your selection, the more resonant your brand. The world is filled with excellent examples of brands that have not only promoted a product, but presented a way of life. Anthropology, Free People, Urban Outfitters, Nike, Starbucks, Apple, Tumblr, Tim Burton. These are not products that people just consume. They're products that people integrate into their very lives. One example of a brand that has literally become part of me is Alexander McQueen. I discovered Alexander McQueen when I was maybe 14 years old, and just beginning to become immersed in the world of fantasy, fashion, and couture. I do not exaggerate when I say that McQueen changed my world. And it wasn't just the beauty of what he was doing, though I think you'll agree that his work was exquisite, but the extent to which he poured his mind, imagination, fears, even his rebellion, into what he produced. I found comfort in his philosophies, in the idea that light and dark are but two sides of the same thing. Not even that, they are in many cases inextricable from one another. There can be tragedy and melancholy in the lightest of things, and vice versa. So much of what I find most beautiful has in it some trace of sadness. McQueen helped found my coping mechanism that decay is a natural part of the life cycle. It cannot be avoided and can even, in many cases, be heartbreakingly beautiful. Before I knew it, I found myself incorporating these elements into my style and general aesthetic, whether it be writing, design, illustration, or even the music I listen to. McQueen set the foundation to what have become some of the most prized aspects of my identity. And so, through choosing what you watch and consume, you help to condition your thinking. And if you believe this, I think the reverse is also true. The things that you hold dear and surround yourself with can in turn serve as an outlet to extend your influence. Another aspect to McQueen that I think we can all learn from is just how difficult it is to categorize his work. When you watch some of his earlier shows, it can be difficult to tell whether what you're looking at is a catwalk with models displaying clothing or a theatrical production. Yet when you observe his collections in a museum context, like I did when I saw the Savage Beauty exhibit at the Met, you're struck by the sheer artistry of the pieces, by how much they can pass for structures of some of the most haunting and beautiful art you may ever see. Have you seen the Kate Moss hologram? If you haven't, I will link it down below and you absolutely must watch it. It will blow your mind. But that's pretty much where my words end, because it renders me speechless. What is it? This dynamic, ghostly Kate Moss, revolving on the spot, fabric oscillating, music chilling. What is she? Is it fashion? Is it film? Is it art? I don't know. All I know is that it is otherworldly. A specter, straight from the wonderfully weird world of Alexander McQueen. And so I think it is that inability to label or contain the genius of Alexander McQueen, the impact he has had on people's lives, that hints at the underlying power of brand. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and watch the Kate Moss hologram. It's short and you will not regret it. Let me know down below what you thought of it. Also, what are some of your favorite brands? And please give this video a big thumbs up for luck. There's a chance it might snow where I live, and I've been waiting and crossing my fingers for snowfall so that I could film a dreamy winter lookbook for you guys. There's a cardinal outside the window in front of me right now, so maybe that's a lucky sign? I don't know. We'll see. Bye!